I've always asked, well, what benefit does testing have? What benefit do pupils have from being tested? Very often, these tests, particularly standardised tests, the children are never even given the results. They're just used for tracking purposes.
It does give you, as a teacher, some element of where the children are and where they need to go. But it's like everything, I think, in the whole of society. Do you know, I think we're overdone with data in schools, care homes, nurseries, everywhere. Everyone's obsessed about data and evidence. Do you know that actually sometimes you're so bogged down in data and evidence that you're not actually able to do your job?
I need to assess my children because I need to know what to teach them next. I need to know, have they got it so I can move on, or do they need more support, or does that person need different types of support from that? I'm doing it all the time. It doesn't always involve, or very seldom involves, testing.
I completely dislike the idea of rigorous testing of 5-year-olds. I think the SPAG testing completely takes away from what literacy, what the experiences of literacy for a child should be. The fact that you can conjugate verbs is not what the enjoyment of language should be all about.
I don't want my son to be tested at 5. I couldn't care. I want him outside playing. I want him in the mud. I want him to have a fabulous experience. I want him to be able to converse. I'd like him to be articulate. Of course I want him to do well in number, and I want him to be literate. Everybody wants that for their children. But then, how do you achieve that? You don't achieve it just by testing every Friday and making sure that what you've learned in the previous 4 days has been remembered. And our exam system now has become so kind of manufactured almost. We're coaching children how to answer questions in advance. That's not really proving anything. That's proving, well, you've got a good memory, or you can regurgitate information learned.
That can happen. I think in the best schools, there is a genuine attempt to ensure that youngsters have a broader view of what learning and education is. But in some cases, youngsters may think that education is about passing exams. It doesn't have any resonance beyond that.
The content's important, don't get me wrong. Qualifications are important. I'm not some left-wing radical that thinks we should all be in hippie schools and not doing any work. I believe in academic rigour, but there's a way of promoting that. And the way of promoting that is having children who are engaged in the process, who want to learn. And that's not rocket science. Children want to learn, they're like sponges. But actually what we do in this country is we knock that out of them.
The great American educator John Dewey once said that there's really only one educational aim that matters. And that is that when you've achieved what you're working at, you want to go on learning. It's not that particular specific aim that matters. It's the impulse to want to go on learning after you've passed the exam or got the grades you want or whatever.
As I always say to my students, qualifications get you through the door, but that's all they do. After that, it's down to you. Can you problem solve? Are you creative? Are you reflective? Are you personable? Do you seem like a person that can work in a team? And actually, if you ignore those skills through childhood, then you've got a specific issue.
These are skills that do sometimes need to be explicitly taught. Just giving children free rein won't necessarily help them to develop these skills. They need to be just like any other skills. They need to be taught and helped to develop.
And it has a knock-on effect to universities. Universities see some of the consequences of this in that some students, certainly not all students, take a very instrumental view of passing the course. And they think nothing of, downloading a lot of stuff from the internet, using shortcuts to produce their assignments and so on, rather than trying to think it through for themselves.
I mean, to give the SQA their credit, where it's due, I think they're trying. I think the fact that the curriculum is now slightly more open at secondary has created that you can't be certain what question is going to come up. And I think that's probably helpful. But there surely has to be other ways of universities and colleges choosing the best candidates, because that's essentially what the examination system's to do. One is to make you employable if you're going to leave school. But if you're going to go into further higher education, it's to get you the entry.
We are seeing conflicting trends. On the one hand, there's quite a lot of enlightened rhetoric about what education is about, but when it comes down to it, a lot of time and effort, and in some cases money, is spent on focusing on the exams.
I've said it 100 times, and I'll keep on saying it, and I'll say it to government, I'll say it to other head teachers. Good examination results are a byproduct of a good education. They're not the end product. And in Scotland, we think they're the end product. And that's a really dangerous route to follow, and that's the one we're following just now.
School shouldn't be an end point. It's the beginning, because let's face it, when you turn 18, there's a long way to retirement.